Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for attending Grow Your Practice with Essential Online Marketing webinar featuring Jonathan Sibio. Jonathan is a senior web presence advisor with OfficeSite. He has over 8 years of digital marketing experience and specializes in working with small to mid-market practices. OfficeSite is a healthcare digital marketing agency and has been working with doctors since 2002. OfficeSite has built more than 10,000 websites throughout the United States in over the last 23 years. I'm your host, Andrea Camp, Sales Manager with OfficeSite. I'd like to personally welcome each and every one of you to this free educational event. During today's session, we'd love for you to participate. So if you'd like to take a look at the GoToWebinar control panel, there you'll see a questions tab. Feel free to use this tab to answer any questions, ask any of your own questions, and make any comments that you may have along the way. After the webinar has been concluded, we do have a quick survey. We'd love to hear your feedback. So now that we've gotten all of that taken care of, let's meet our presenter, Jonathan Sibio. Take it away, Jonathan.
Good afternoon. Today's webinar will be going through some of the online web portions, what we like to call the ecosystem. So this is everything from the foundations of your website through the online digital landscape, as well as some third-party attributes that can help your presence, like reputation management, social media, and other forms of digital marketing. What we'll first get started with is the website. So like I mentioned, this is the foundation and really the building block of your online ecosystem or your online presence. The website is essentially the housing unit that controls all of your information that is being viewed through an online source, as well as other areas where your information can be found, get linked back to. So your website really is the portion where people get to know you, get to know your practice, help you convert potential patients into patients, as well as the overall view of what your office is representing from an online standpoint. Website values come in a few different ways. So number one, most critical, why people use a website is to attract people, right? Get new visitors coming into the website, and hopefully those new visitors are converting into potential new clients for yours. So with that being the case, website should be up to date, newer, modern. And why that's important is because of the mobile technology that is now out and available for websites to be viewed on. People today are not necessarily going and sitting on a computer, desktop, laptop, whatever it is, more likely that they are searching it from the computer on their pocket, their cell phone. So with that being the case, you want to make sure your website is up to date with the latest and newest technology where it can be viewed on those devices. Second crucial piece of the website is really more of the informational portion. So people are getting to your website, and then what are they doing when they get there? The educational value within a website is the content that gets built into it. So maybe people have general questions and you have a Q&A page on your website. Maybe it's just the generic portions of the content on your website that are giving that value, right? So maybe you have a conditions page or a treatments page, but people want to find that information because they got to your website by doing a search, and that search probably was related to one of those services. So let's say somebody Googles dermatologist near me, they got to your website, they want to see what types of derm services you're providing. And that's going to be located again within your conditions and treatment pages. So your content on your website should directly reflect what you're providing in the office or what you're treating in the office. That's going to give clear information to the people who know this is exactly what I searched for, this is what this office does. It's going to help you convert those potential visitors into potential patients. So that last piece, where people are converting in, is something that you want to make as easy as possible for these visitors. Not where they're digging through pages of a website to find a section where they have to find a phone number or find an email address to reach out to. Make it easy for them. You're going to see a higher conversion ratio. So we use buttons that are called CTAs. That's known as a call to action button. And that's where on a website, you'll see a bubble or a square or a specific section that says call now, click here to book your appointment. Even links to patient portals and things like that. Those are all call to action buttons, and they do help drive the conversion ratios for people visiting the site to hopefully inquiring about your services. Next portion we're going to get into is the first level of digital marketing solutions. It's called search engine optimization, more commonly known as SEO. So if you ever hear that term SEO, it stands for search engine optimization. Well, let's start with what it is. Okay, so search engine optimization is the tool that is physically running in the background on a website that makes you show up on a search engine. Okay, so somebody goes to Google and they search blank near me, Why do certain results show up? Two different things happen with that, okay? So number one, the search criteria is the first part of that search. So let's say pediatrician in my area. Pediatrician is what's known as a keyword. That keyword is being identified as the search target term, and that is literally what is pulling up people who are pediatricians in the area. Now, the second portion of this is the end of that search, right? In my area, near me, in blank city. The geographical location portion is very crucial. Same reason why when you Google restaurants in my area, a restaurant doesn't show up that's 3 hours away, but one in your neighborhood does. Any device you're searching from, whether it be a computer, a cell phone, a tablet, they're all running identification locators, okay? So if you're on a cell phone, it's pinging off a tower. If you're on a computer, you're running off of Wi-Fi with an IP address. So the search engines know exactly where the search is being brought from, and that's what casts the local results in that area. SEO is also the portion for, let's say, your online presence base for more branding. So when somebody does that search of pediatrician in my area, dermatologist in my area, etc., that when you're looking at those search results, they're looking to see the top search result base. You lose about 80% of traffic when you drop to page 2 of the search result rankings, which is why SEO is so important. Making your presence visible and showing up on that first page to let people know that you provide these services in that area until the point where you become that brand that is recognized in the area. So when somebody thinks of your town and they're thinking of those services, they think of you. Next portion in there, we're going to get a little bit more into the technical side of it, is those keywords that I was mentioning is prioritized based on the searchability of those keywords. So let's say you're in a really busy, saturated area and you're competing with a lot of other offices. They're probably using the same keywords as you. So what we'll talk about a little bit is what makes you different than the other office who is also using those same keywords. And that's going to be where you get into third-party aspects of SEO. So down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see local SEO and reviews. That's going to be the portion where you see the Google My Business profiles as well as the mapping sections. So if you wonder how people show up in those areas as well, is going to be third-party factors. Like, do you have reviews online? What type of reviews do you have? How many reviews do you have? What you're looking for there is a high star rating with as many reviews as possible. And that's going to maybe give you the edge over the competition who's using the same keyword, where maybe you have more reviews and you have a higher star rating than them. That'll give you that extra boost to get over the top of them. How to improve your SEO. So this goes back into a little bit of what's happening behind the scenes, where one of the primary, we'll say, portions of an SEO aspect is going to be the relative content on a website. So number one, crucially, that I will point out is, as far as a website's content value goes, when you provide your own unique content to your website, it is graded at a higher level than if you're using stock content. So two pieces with this. What is individual content? This is where you're directly writing your own info. So instead of finding generic information on a service or on a condition that you can post on there that's already been written, write your own, make it in your own words. That's going to be considered unique content and be more valuable to the search engines than other content that may be on other websites. Now, with that being said, that's the primary indicator, is looking for unique content. But what they're also looking for is maybe that patient education. So an existing library that's out as a resource and linked into your website. What they are looking for is, again, that unique quality content subsidized by maybe a stock library or additional content, things like that, to bolster the educational value of the website. One of the primary focuses with SEO is centralizing your information through the search engines, and Google being the largest. And with that being the case, make sure you are managing your Google My Business profile to ensure that all your information is correct. You have the right hours on there, you have the right address, the right phone number so people can contact you. It's a very crucial piece in regards to how your information is being received once people find your information. Last piece on here is going to be the site speed. Nobody likes a slow experience. So what I mean by that is, if somebody is trying to get to your website and read information, I'm sure some of you have seen this, where either you see a 404 error, or you see a screen that's just spinning, or there's supposed to be a video playing and there's not. So you're looking for good site speeds for two reasons. Number one, consumer experience. So the person coming to your website has the ability to find the information and find it quickly. And then number two, back to the search engines. If you have a website that's not loading properly or taking a long time, it can negatively impact how you are ranking on search results. Next piece we're going to get into is reputation management. Now, reputation management is its own program, but it is also something that can influence your SEO campaign that we just spoke about. So what is reputation management and why does it matter? Reputation management, first and foremost, is going to be a big indicator in regards to how you're portrayed online. And mostly speaking about reviews. When people decide to leave a review for a business, those business reviews are reviewed by previous customers, so people who have had the experience in that office before. So when somebody new is looking up your business, if they do decide that, hey, I want to inquire, most cases they are going to look you up before they make that inquiry. So two things with that. Number one, making sure you have positive testimonials on your website is a great way to do that, because you can control the testimonials on your website, as well as it also allows people to find that information about your reviews and the testimonials without having to leave your site. So a smoother transition from them finding that info and inquiring, rather than them having to leave and go to a third-party place. Now, the other end of that could be, let's say they found good reviews about you, and that's how they got to your website. So it works in both directions, but at the end of the day, you want to have a strong reputation where people can see a great star rating with great testimonials and good reviews about you. Now back to the SEO portion, those positive reviews can affect, again, the search engine rankings, where you and another office are competing and you do have more reviews, you have more credibility, higher ranking results can definitely be determined from that. So your practice, if you're consistently ranking with positive high stars, positive testimonials, gives you better credibility, and it's going to keep you more relevant in the search engines. How do you get these reviews? A few different ways to do it. Within a reputation management program, the system itself will have an actual way for you to communicate with the patients, whether that be through the format of email or through text. You're able to actually generate positive reviews for yourself, because let's face it, at the end of the day, the people who seem to leave reviews willingly maybe are not the ones who are leaving a positive response. So how do we generate those positive responses? The way to do it is to send out a follow-up email or text, depending on what system you're using, and see if you can prompt them to leave a review. And these, you're going to want to obviously reach out to people who are going to leave those positive reviews. Make it easy for them to access. So send a link over, again, send it through an email, through a text, so people can get through it. And then another portion with reviews is whether it's a positive review or a negative review that's been left online. And these could be a variety of different sources, right? So health grades, Google, Yelp, places like that. Do your best to reply to them. It's your opportunity to do two different things. Number one, let's say it's a negative review that was left. It's your opportunity to reach out and form some sort of solution, maybe a remedy where it's just a simple response in regards to, sorry you had a poor experience. If there's anything we could do to accommodate you in the future, please feel free to reach over to the office. What's going to happen with that is if somebody does find your reviews and they see that negative review, now they see a response from the office that you actually did reach out, shows a little bit more of the charismatic side of the practice. Whereas if they just find that negative review and there's no response to it, that's all they have to go on. The other portion of that is when people see a replied review, it shows the interactivity in regard to the practice with their clients. It shows that you guys care about what people are saying about you, and it does go a long way in the eye of the customer. Now, this portion that I just touched on briefly, I'm going to expand on. When you get into the responding to negative reviews, number one thing to look for is the response that you are laying out does not include any personal information. So no names, no specific examples, anything like that, but just a generic response. Keep it brief, short, polite. And what you're looking for with that, again, is just showing a solution or remedy to somebody who was upset on that end. Worst thing you can do is, again, feel offended, which obviously is tough to do because you feel like you were just offended in regards to a personal attack on the business. The worst thing to do is go out and reply in a negative manner. That is also not a good look for the business in regards to reputation. Third portion we are going to jump into is social media management. So it's social media management, a lot of different aspects, okay? There's a lot of social media content that is out and available today, and it's really good for businesses. As far as the major platforms go, you find the meta companies, so Facebook and Instagram. And I will say, depending on your specific business or your specific practice, your primary source of your social media can be determined based on the age range, right? So different platforms have different demographics of users, and you can usually find the right one that's going to work out for your business, where you're going to get the most social presence or the most views or the most engagement. So it's a great way to start showing brand awareness, as well as tying back into SEO. Social is also a third-party option that can positively impact your SEO. The more active you are in engagement with the social platforms, and when it's properly backlinked into your website, can help grow that expanding web presence, and also can help boost your SEO ranking results on that end. Now, as far as the social media platforms go, what you're looking to do is just create more of a presence-based value. So you're showing up as, let's say, a pillar in the community. People find your information, your name's getting out there more, they recognize the business, and this all ties back into that branding and the viewership of an online presence. All right, next portion of social media. So essentially what you're looking at with the social media portion is you don't need to write novels. You can use pre-populated articles, information, whatever you'd like to do in regards to an educational post. You can also just do quick posts, right? But still, this is considered to be an active and maintaining a valuable presence online. So whether it be a holiday coming up and you do a holiday post, whether it's news or updates, right? There is a holiday coming up and the office is going to be closed on Monday. Put that on there. Office is closed Monday, back to normal hours on Tuesday. All of these posts are considered valuable because what we're looking for is the consistency. We're looking for the web presence to continuously flow in regards to accuracy in the timeline. So you want to be consistent in regards to how you're posting, whether that be on a weekly basis, monthly basis. What you don't ever want to do with social media is create these profiles, attach them to your website, and then never touch them again, because that's going to be what's considered a dead link, and it can negatively impact your SEO results on that end. Next portion of digital advertising is going to take you into two different areas, and this is going to be a little bit of social and a little bit of Google as well. So versus search engine optimization that we talked about, where you're actually organically showing up on a search presence, Google advertising is where you're paying to show up on that same search. You've probably seen these at the top of a Google search. It'll have a little AD in front of it for ad, or it'll say sponsored. This is going to be where somebody is actually paying to show up on those search result basis based on the same keywords that other people are trying to show up for organically. Example I used before was pediatrician in my area. Let's say I'm in an area where there's 15 pediatricians and I'm having a tough time getting on that first page. You can run a Google Ads campaign where you are paying for the same keyword terms. So pediatrician would be assigned a value, a dollar amount from Google, and that dollar amount is tied to that word. Now, when somebody searches that word, you will show up on that page. It's what's called an impression. When somebody does a search and you show up and they click on you, that's when that dollar value counts. So you set a set budget in regards to what you want to pay on a monthly basis, and your ads will show up. And then when people click on you, that's when you get charged. You will run through that set budget on a monthly basis, and how these get set is through a variety of different analytics in regards to the setup. So times of day you want to run these ads, how often you want to target the high market ads, so different times of the day, high traffic volumes. Maybe you're not running the advertising at night because there's not as much traffic. So a lot goes into these setups, but this is an opportunity where if you're not able to show up organically, you can pay to show up in those areas. Facebook ads is a little bit different, but the same style of a service. So this goes back to the social media side, and we're looking at Facebook. And Facebook advertising is where you can set up a campaign source based on demographics. So geographical location, age range, things like that, and you pick out your ideal demographic. Now, when you do these ads, you set a budget, same way. And when people are scrolling through a Facebook feed and they match the criteria of the ad's demographics, that ad will show up on their feed. So it'll show up on users who've been interested in the service based on the demographics, and these ads show up on those feeds, helps build awareness, as well as it'll give them a direct option to inquire within the business. So feed them into a landing page, collect their information, and then that comes into you that way as well. Now, when do you do digital ads? Digital ads is something that Works really well for some businesses, maybe not as well for others, or not necessary for others. So when is the right time to use them? SEO and Google Ads have the same goal. It's to get you to show up high on search engine ranking results. One of the primary differences between them is Google Ads is a direct, immediate result. As soon as you start running the ads, you will start showing up where those searches are being placed. Versus SEO, that can take time to grow because it's organically showing up in the search engine results. PPC can be that immediate satisfaction where if you need patients now, this is a good option to do it. If you're in a competitive market, great option. And that was my example before. You're in an area with 15, 20, 30 practices, and it's really tough to get on that first page. Google advertising might be an option for you because it's going to give you that immediate visibility where it's difficult to attain otherwise. Also, if you're running any specials, promos in the offices, anything like that, you can run direct advertisements for those as well. Great way to get a very specific client you're looking for in the door if you are running an ad for a specific service that you're running. How do we measure success with Google pay-per-click advertising? A couple different things. So CTR is what we call a click-through rate. It measures the people clicking your ad after they see it, okay? Higher CTRs indicate that the ad has been engaged and more relevant in regards to the people who are searching it. So higher CTR rate is going to be better. The conversion rate is essentially tracking percentages of the ad clicks that turned into actual inquiries. So this is going to be a true measure of, hey, I'm spending X amount of dollars this month. This is what I got back out of it. And at the end of the day, this is what matters to most people as they're looking for that positive ROI. Last portion is going to be cost per acquisition. And this is essentially going to be how much are you paying to gain that new patient. And that's going to give you an idea of how the campaign is performing for you. The last piece, we're just doing a little recap here, is everything I talked about ties into one another in regards to what we call the ecosystem. Again, everything starts with the foundation, just like a house, which is going to be your website, and you continue to build from there. Some of the most important pieces of that are going to be the digital marketing solutions, because a lot of people are using their website as a tool to generate new business. Some of the best ways to do that, again, are going to be SEO, paid ads, which are going to be Google ads or Facebook ads, as well as subsequently using other tools online that can help boost those programs like your SEO. So generating positive reviews through a reputation management program, using social media as a tool to gain visibility, but also positively affecting your SEO in other ways as well. So each component that we talked about is really vital to an overall successful online presence. And that's going to be really, at the end of the day, when you are meeting all of the needs of a customer, whether it be they want to find information on your reputation, on your services through content, they want to be able to access your website through a mobile device, they want to be able to find information on you easily through search engines. All of these pieces put together makes an area where people can access all that information as easy as possible and gives you the best opportunity to convert somebody who is in need of your services to a patient of yours where you're providing those services.
John, thank you so much. Honestly, it was an awesome presentation. I learned a ton about the digital ecosystem. I didn't even know that that was a thing. So thank you so much for all the valuable information that you shared with us today. Let me just make sure I've got our offers and everything that we can highlight for today. So again, just to reintroduce OfficeSite, at OfficeSite we work with medical professionals to help them create a professional looking website and ensure they can be found online where and when their patients are searching in order to help increase new client acquisition. We encourage the practices we work with to build a website that's a reflection of themselves, but also to help them create a marketing strategy that allows them to accomplish their goals. Our solutions make it easy to achieve priority placement on the major search engines, manage the reputation and reviews of a practice, as well as to create a network of referrals via social media. As a special thank you for being here today, we are extending a special webinar offer to schedule your online presence review today. Plus, you'll receive a $50 gift card when you add any new services to your account. So if you'd like to learn more about OfficeSite and see how we can help attract more new clients to your practice, feel free to call us at 888-606-8943 or visit our website at officesite.com. And that's OFFICITE.com. We have a handful of questions coming in. John, are you ready to start diving into those?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so the first question that came through was, you talked a little bit about like claiming listings and reputation and stuff. One of the questions that came in was in regards to claiming listings online, and should I claim all the listings for all my providers and all of the people at the practice, or should I just claim the listings for the practice itself?
Yeah, that's a great question. So they're actually both great opportunities. With the reputation management program, you can do it in both fashions. So you could claim it for the practice as a whole, making sure that the information that's relevant to the practice is on these listings where it's accurate, clear, concise information. So address, phone number, name of the practice, link to the website, all what you're looking to do with the practice as a whole. As an
So in a
individual
sense,
provider,
yeah, no,
sorry
I was
about
just going to say, in a sense, then you'd be trying to get reviews for everybody then, right?
Correct. You're looking to get reviews for the practice as a whole, generating that positive presence for the practice as a whole. Now, from
Okay.
an individual user standpoint, this tool can be useful in a few different factors. Generating individual reviews, but also a big portion of this tool's use could be for, let's say you hire a new provider and they're coming in from a previous practice. A lot of their old information online is going to be tied to their previous employer, their previous practice. The system also has the ability to clean that information and update it to the new office. So making sure people who maybe are moving with them or following them are able to find them. So it'll update their information in that format as well.
Awesome. So how can I get to page one of Google in the search engines? I figure that's probably a question you get asked all the time.
So two different ways. Number one is going to be the organic approach through an SEO program, which is going to be indicative of how your market is receiving you without paying to be there. So having an SEO program built into your website is going to be a crucial key factor for an organic presence based where you are showing up because you are supposed to be. Somebody did a search
Mhm.
and that search matched the criteria that's built within your website to make you show up on that search result base. It's going to be the portion that most program or most offices are running as a program when it comes to a day-to-day digital marketing style. And that's going to be an SEO package that is not just inclusive of the physical information built in for the search engine, but some of those other areas we talked about. So social presences, blogging or content added into a website, all of these positively affect an SEO program
Now,
and help you get to that first page.
awesome, thank you. Do I have to do both, like paid? I think you talked about paid advertising as well as search engine optimization. Do I have to do both?
You don't have to do both. There's a couple different opportunities to do both or to do one or the other. So like I said, one of the key benefits of a paid advertising style campaign is immediate satisfaction. If you're looking for business tomorrow, SEO is not going to be the program for you. If you're looking to build branding, presence, and a reputation over time, SEO is going to be the program for you. So depending on your needs and what you're looking for, sometimes the right opportunity is to do SEO, sometimes it's to do paid ads, sometimes it's to run both together. So depending on the office's specific needs, there's a program that works for everyone and you just have to figure out which one is right for you.
Okay, perfect. Does it have to be super expensive to advertise on Google? I hear that it's pretty expensive.
Not necessarily, and it's really dependent upon market. So if you're looking at direct advertising costs through PPC, the larger the market that you're located in, the more expensive it typically ends up being because you're competing on a higher market-based level against a lot more offices and a little bit more of a saturated area versus maybe a smaller town or smaller area where you don't have as necessarily as much competition, but you're still looking to maintain that really good presence and visibility is going to be a little bit less expensive because you're not competing against so many other people. But as a whole, digital marketing advertisements, what you're looking for at the end of the day is ROI. So you're looking to get more out of it than what you're putting into it. So that's where these metrics and analytics really come into a key portion, is to see what's going to provide the most value for your business. So at the end of the day, if it's generating a positive revenue base for you, to answer your question, no. It is
Okay,
it's not an expensive piece, but it's an investment piece.
right. Okay. Let's see. So there's been a lot of discussion about content or AI content. So couldn't I just very easily just ask ChatGPT to write me a bunch of content and put that on my website?
Yes and no. So two different parts of it is, number one, you're looking for unique content value. And what that means is it is actually coming directly from the office. Now people will say, hey, how do I know, how does the search engine know that AI wrote that for me? AI is gathered information from different sources online that puts together the final result that you see as the content value. This is different than organically written material. So the search engines can actually tell when content has been written by AI. So two pieces with it. Number one, unique content value that you write yourself for your primary services, conditions, and information on your website is going to be key. Second piece of that is any AI-based content or material info that you're using to generate more value, so not the primary source of content, but maybe a secondary source, is absolutely a good tool, and people can use that for blogs and different types of information additions to their site.
Awesome. Let me see what other questions have come in. Questions about how do I grow my social media following?
That's a great question. So in today's age, social media is taking over a lot of screen time for users, right? So where people are hopping online and just scrolling through feeds, essentially what you're looking to do is create a presence in that area where your information is showing up on those feeds. And the two different ways to do it, you can do, again, the paid ad style with social media portions, or you can do a presence based. I break those into two different areas, where a paid ad style source on social media is going to be a little bit more of the analytics driven style, where you're looking to actually pay for advertisement space and looking at those conversion ratios coming in regards to new patients. Whereas the present side base, you're using that more as an opportunity to create a brand awareness, and you're using that to, again, establish yourself within the community. People see your information, they see your posts, they're looking to maybe engage through those posts, that sort of stuff. So two different approaches versus the presence based versus ad based, but both great opportunities for the social media spectrum. And to grow those is essentially looking for a snowball effect. You have to start somewhere, and that somewhere is typically with the posting. So create posts, people find them, they share those posts, and your growth from there will just continue to expand. The more people who see your info and share your information, it's just going to continue to grow.
Gotcha. I know you talked a lot about the website. So there was a couple of questions that came in regards to, like, how easy is it to build a website? How long should it take? Do we help with that? Some questions related to that website side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So website builds can range based on what you're looking for. What I mean by that is, let's say somebody revamping an old website into a new website. They're already going to have a lot of their content created, their information that they want, maybe some pictures, things like that, but they're looking to bring it up to date. They want to get it on one of those mobile responsive platforms, looking to spruce it up really at the end of the day, give it a facelift. That type of program could be done quite easily because you already have a lot of the stuff put together, versus somebody who's coming in new. These types of programs where they're coming in new really is going to be a mixture of the website provider as well as the provider working together. So making sure that website is personally reflective of the provider, where they're able to maybe provide their bio about their staff, or they're able to provide the content about their services that they provide as well. And then working with the website team to make sure it visually is offering up what their services really are and who they are, and representing the office as a whole. You can absolutely lean on your website builder and developer to help you through that area of what works, what doesn't work, what should be on here, what shouldn't be on here. So those style of rebuilds are going to be a accumulation of working together.
Awesome. Last question that came in was, I'm a brand new practice. Where do I start? This all feels like a big project.
Yeah, that's a big one we always hear. So with that, my recommendation is don't let it be overwhelming, right? So it's a lot of different areas, and it seems like a lot to jump in at one time. So what you're looking to do really is, again, start with that foundation. So website comes first, where you're getting that all put together. And while you're doing that, you're looking at some of the marketing service options, because at the end of the day, you can have the best looking website that's out there, but if nobody can find it, what's the point of having it? So those are the two really key areas you're looking at. Making sure you're getting set up properly at the beginning is going to be that website build, so it's representative of your business, but making it so people can find it as well. And whether that be through digital advertising through SEO or social ads or pay per click, you have to find what's going to be right for your practice. And then from there, you just work on it in steps. So maybe that's what you get started with, and then you're looking to continue to grow your presence, and we're looking at social media portions and reputation management. It's really not as overwhelming as you would think. There's somebody there to help you through the whole process, and it's something that's pretty easily established if you put your mind to it.
Right. No, I like the idea of just step by step, and that it's going to be an ongoing project, right? Like it's not a set it and forget it, and it's not like where it's going to be perfect, right? It's going to be a continued project that you're going to work on continuously.
Absolutely.
So another couple of questions related came in regards to any recommendations on optimizing a presence on social media sites like TikTok in order to target the younger generations, the younger crowd.
Yeah, so TikTok has become very popular because you're gathering a large, we'll say, viewing with very minimal content base. And what I mean by that is typically what you're seeing on a platform like that is short video clip basis, right? It's 30 seconds long, it's a minute long. And what I say to this is, if you think about educational videos from many years past, right? What do you picture? You picture somebody sitting behind a desk reading off of a script and talking to a camera. That's not what these videos are about. It's engagement, it's activity. And what you see in a lot of these campaigns that are working well for people is it's literally a camera that's maybe following the doc around the office and just, hey, here's exam room 1, here's exam room 2, here's our front desk staff, and they all wave and say hi. It's not as formal. It's really not. It's going to be a little bit more of a personal, professional experience for people where they feel like they're getting a look behind the scenes and that sort of stuff. And all it takes is putting together a few of those videos, and 1 or 2 of them catch on and start to get really popular, and people start following your page, and you continue to do those posting styles. You can really establish a really large following behind a social media presence like a TikTok.
Right. I like the idea that you mentioned informal, right? It doesn't have to be a professional videographer that's going to come to the practice. It can be very informal. And I like the idea of the doctor speaking to potential patients, right? Versus it being, very formal or uncomfortable or cold. So I kind of like that idea. So related to this question came in after, so how frequently do I have to post on these types of social media networks like TikTok and Facebook and all of the other things?
It'll really vary, and the most important portion isn't necessarily how often, but how you do it. So what I would say with that is it's more about the consistency. You don't want to go through big lapses where you're not posting, because that's going to come back in. And all these systems, all social media platforms run on an algorithm base. So the consistency is what is appealing to the algorithms. And when you're appealing to the algorithms, that's where they share your video so other people can find them. So with that being the case, you want to just make sure you're being consistent with your posting, and whether that be on a weekly basis. It could be multiple posts a week, but whatever you're doing, be consistent with it. You're not looking for gaps in content, is essentially going to be what's important on that end.
Awesome. I think I got everybody's question answered. We are running a little early. So John, do you have any final thoughts or any final suggestions for our viewers today?
Yeah, overall, I would say if you have an existing presence, now would be a good time to evaluate it in regards to what you have. Is it working for you? Is there anything else I can be doing to be more successful? From the other side, if this is something brand new to you, this is a great opportunity to maybe start to find some information on it, right? Where do I start with the website building process? That's going to be the foundation. Who am I looking to market to? How am I looking to do the marketing? There's a few different options. So it's just really a great time to review what you have going on, see if what you do have currently is working for you or if it's not. And if it's not, maybe it's time to start looking at some different solutions that maybe can help grow your business.
Right. And I think taking a step back and evaluating, are the things I'm doing today, are they in line with the practice goals for 2025? Like 2025 kind of snuck up on us. So I think it's good to take a step back and evaluate, all of those components, in real time. So John, thank you so much. I learned a ton, and I appreciate you taking the time to answer all of our attendees' questions. I did share the officesite.com website, and just in case you wanted to give us a shout, you can reach us at 888-606-8943. And again, John, a big thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to chat with us today. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much.